Welcome back to week 44 of my Mounjaro journey. My name is Ginger and this is my channel Ginger Goes GLP-1. I'm currently on a 10 milligram pen from which I'm taking approximately 8.75 milligrams rather than the full 10 milligram dose, just because I get very strong suppression and I wanted to titrate up a little bit slower from the 7.5, which had been working really well, to the 10 milligram pen. And now I've been on that for 7 weeks at the 8.75 milligrams, and it's really going very well. I've lost weight all through July, except for 1 week where I gained weight, which I kind of talked about. I thought that was going to happen because I felt very bloated. But I'll just bring you up to speed on where I am. These weekly weigh-ins, I tend to go through mood, hunger, cravings, side effects, sleep, calories, non-scale victories, goals, exercise, all the different things that we want to know a little bit about when we're starting on Mounjaro. So I started my Mounjaro journey back in October of 2024, 1st of October. And like I said, I've been on this now for 44 weeks. So starting this week with mood, I've had a pretty good week, to be honest. Like, my mood's been pretty stable. Things are still settling down. You know, I'm getting into a new routine with work and things like that. But overall, I'd say mood's been pretty good. And I've had consistent energy. I've been doing quite a few odd jobs, tidying jobs, kind of getting the house up to scratch kind of thing. Don't know, it's almost like a spring cleaning mode that I've gone into, even though it's not spring. And which is helping, obviously, like, you know, tidy house, tidy mind. You just feel like things are a bit sorted and you can get on with life a little bit better. So I am trying to catch up on a lot of life stuff because, as you know, I've really been struggling with exhaustion. I'm not going to lie, that hasn't changed. I'm still tired. I am pushing myself, though, to try and get back on top of my life and get back in control of everything. So hunger's been pretty balanced this week. My hunger hasn't been too extreme either way, so I haven't been too hungry and I haven't been too suppressed. As you know, I do get sort of mega suppression sometimes and I just can't eat. I have very low calorie days, but I've been okay this week. And I think part of that is that I'm just settling into the 10 milligram pen or the 8.75 milligrams, and it's impacting me in the right amount of sort of suppression and then my hunger coming back. Saturday and Sunday is usually quite a suppressed day, although today's Sunday and I've been quite peckish, I would say, more than hungry. But I also think that's because yesterday I was busy, I was running around, and probably didn't eat enough yesterday. So today I've been topping up a little bit. But one thing I've noticed this week is I'm not as focused on the hunger, or shall I eat something, or I need to eat something, or I can't eat anything, I'm too suppressed. I'm just taking it as it comes. So I feel a lot more relaxed just relaxed in the week on how I'm eating and how things are going, which is nice because I think when you first start, you're thinking about your protein, you're thinking about your water, you're thinking about, I'm not hungry, but I have to eat something, or why am I still so hungry? This week, it's just like I haven't really thought about it, which has been quite a relief, just not to think about it as much. And obviously I'm 44 weeks going into week 45, so it's not as big a deal as it was. I feel a lot more relaxed about the whole thing in general. Cravings, we're back on the coffee. It's coffee day. If you don't know, I've been on the AIP diet as well, which is the autoimmune protocol, because I react to quite a lot of foods. I have digestive symptoms and some issues when I eat certain foods. So I've been doing the AIP, which is a very extreme elimination diet. You can't have coffee on it. And today is the day I reintroduce coffee. So yay! It's I don't think it is going to cause me any problems at all. I have no immediate reactions whatsoever, except joy, elation, and relief. And yeah, so I think I've had 97 cups of coffee today. I haven't. I've had four. The other thing I didn't check was whether you're supposed to just have one coffee and then see how that goes. But I thought, no, if I need to test this, I'm going to test it properly. So I had 4 cups of coffee today. I did have to mix it with decaf because I was terrified if I had my normal strength coffee, I'd be painting the ceiling, unnecessarily. But anyway, so that's gone good. Eggs are going to be the next thing that are reintroduced because I eat a lot of eggs and I haven't been able to have that on the AIP. And so I have been craving eggs. The other thing I was craving this week was potato chips, and which aren't a healthy option. They're not terrible, but I really wanted something like that. And I do allow myself treats. And when I was in Lidl, they had salted plantain chips. Oh my God, they're delicious. They taste just like potato chips to me. Anyway, so I bought a couple of packets of those and I've just been nibbling on the odd one or two just when I get that salty, crunchy craving. So I'm happy about those. Side effects. I have escaped until week 44. But I tell a lie, I did have something around week 6 and something around week 18 or 19. I've had constipation. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, it's been more than once now. So I've been feeling quite heavy, quite backed up, quite, like I said, fibrous. I had like a bit of a purge last week, which I thought was great. And I thought that was a bit of a die-off from the AIP, maybe, because I've been eating a lot of bulky, fibrous foods, obviously trying to keep my water up. But yeah, it's I haven't been as regular as I have been the whole way through. So I haven't really had a problem. I would say I have had normal digestion right the way through. But these last 2 to 3 weeks, I would say I started noticing a bit of a problem, and it has continued. So like I said, I had a purge last week, which was great. I felt great. I felt lighter and kind of, much freer. But it's kind of come back again. So I have been doing magnesium citrate. I've been drinking 3 litres of water a day. I'm eating loads of fruits and vegetables. And I even put on a castor oil pack on my stomach, which I think did help. But it's still there. So I definitely am saying that is a Mounjaro side effect. Not a pleasant one. And bless you if you've had that all the way through, because, it's not a great one. Anyway, I'm going to monitor that. I am doing really well on the 8.75 milligrams. If it continues, I might try dosing down to 7.5 milligrams because I don't want to continue with that. It might just be a passing thing. It might be AIP related. I've reintroduced coffee today. As we all know, coffee is a stimulant when it comes to that. So we'll see where we go from here. But yeah, I just wanted to let you know. It's an uncomfortable subject, but I'm, bearing all. Anyone who saw me knows I bared all, or almost all, last week. Sleep. My sleep is moderately better, and I am feeling slightly more energized. I am still exhausted, but I'm feeling slightly better. I think my sleep quality is improving. I am getting more sleep through the night. I'm not waking up as frequently, and I'm finding it easier to get back to sleep. That has been with me since the very, 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 very beginning. So I don't expect it to change too much, and I think that is definitely a Mounjaro side effect for me. So I just have to take that as it comes, really. But yeah, so this week a bit better. Calories, rinse and repeat. I'm about 1,200 to 1,400, and I have the odd 800 calorie day when my suppression is super high and I cannot eat. But I tend to make up for it later in the week, and it evens out So my calories usually come in at the end of the week closer usually to the 1200 than 1400. But if I've had a couple of like heavy eating days, it will be closer to the 14. But that's what I do. You do whatever works for you, and whatever your TDEE, is it TDDE or TDEE? You know what I mean. Whatever that works out for you, and then 500 calories less, which I think is the rule. Exercise, little bit better this week. I have done 2 proper sessions this week. Focused a lot on weights and body movement. I've been trying to sort of open up my hips a little bit, get a bit more flexibility, and I've been feeling a bit tight in my hips because I do sit down all the time for work. And so I've just been trying to work on that a little bit to get a bit more flexibility, including doing like sitting down on the ground and doing the 90-degree angles and then leaning forward and then like spreading your legs and leaning forward into it. My goal, and I've never mentioned this before, I don't think, or if I did, it was right at the very beginning. Around Christmas time, we were talking about goals for the year, and I said one of my goals for this year, 2025, was I wanted to be able to do an Asian squat by Christmas next year, or Christmas, what will be coming, Christmas 2025. And I was talking about it at work, and I was saying, I want to be able to do an Asian squat. And someone said, what's that? And I said, it's like this. And I went down into the squat position. And I said, it's like this, but much lower. But actually, I got down really, really far, like further than I've ever done before. So I was absolutely astounded. And I went, it was kind of like what I just did. So I was really pleased with that, because I do get down and I can't hold it for very long, and I have had knee surgery, so I don't ever know if I'm going to be able to do a proper knee squat, because I don't know if my knee is going to bend as tight. So your thighs are supposed to be flush, touching the backs of your calves in an Asian squat. And it feels so tight in my knee, I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to achieve that. I can on my right side, but not on my left. But we're getting there. But I was blown away when I managed to get down so low. So that's a non-scale victory. So I've jumped ahead of myself. But yeah, exercise 2 times, lots of body movement, weights, and then I did a mega session of treadmill and trampoline. I woke up, I think it was Thursday. Absolutely don't know what happened. Woke up 6 o'clock. And was just full of beans, went downstairs, got on the trampoline, did a full workout, did half of another workout, looked at my watch and thought, I've got time for a run. And I got on the treadmill and I did 40 minutes on the treadmill with intermittent sprinting. So my sprinting, I tend to do 30-minute sprints at a low speed, 20-second sprints at a slightly higher, and then I do 10 to 15 second sprints at maximum speed. I am no Usain Bolt. So I look probably quite ridiculous, but the sprints are a way of getting your heart rate up, like, quite high, but they're only short bursts. So, I really enjoy those. And I came off absolutely ready to seize the day that day. And then I started work, and my colleague called me. I literally had to run upstairs, jump in the shower, and then start work. It was kind of one of those things. And I'll put a picture of my face maybe up, but I was beet red. I mean, beet red. She was like, are you okay? And I was like, I know, I look like I'm having a heart attack. I'm fine. I've just been exercising. So yeah, it was quite amusing. It gave her some kicks anyway. Non-scale victory. I've got down Asian squat. Goals. Obviously, my goal is 6 stone. Is to get. That's my next major milestone. 6 stone is 84 pounds. So I've got 9.2 pounds to go, and then around that is 167 pounds, which brings me into the 11 stone bracket in the UK. And that will be 6.2 pounds to go. So those are 2 of my goals. for the coming weeks. The 11s will come before the 6 stone one, obviously. But my weight is slowing down. I know it's slowing down. And I'm okay with that. Like I said, I've had a very easy week with just like relaxed about how things are going, relaxed about hunger, what I'm eating. I'm not obsessing about it like you do in the early days. And there's nothing wrong with that because it keeps you accountable. But I've just really settled into a nice groove at the moment. So on to the weight. What did I lose this week? Did I lose this week? Have I gained? This week, well, last week, let's do last week. Last week I weighed it in at 173.8 or 12 stone 5.8 or 78.8 kilos. This week I weighed in at 173.2 or 12 stone 5.2 or 78.6 kilos. So this week I lost 0.6 pounds, which is about 200 grams, I think, roughly in kilos. So yeah, I'll take that. And especially I'll take that sort of after I had a big loss last week. I had like a 2.2 pound one last week, which is quite a lot for me so late in the day, or so late in my journey. So yeah, I'm happy with 0.6, and I wasn't sure if I was going to lose anything at all this week. Like I said, because I just feel so congested, for want of a better word. But yeah, the journey continues and I'm very happy with where it's going. I have accepted that my weight loss is slowing down. I have accepted that I might not reach the goal I set myself of 160 pounds by mid-September. By the 1st of October, which will be my 52 weeks. But I'm fine. I'm willing to adjust those goals all the way along. So happy with that. Somebody asked me if I would do a question and answer session. And I said, yeah, no problem. I'm an open book. I mentioned it on Wednesday. So if you do want to ask me any questions, please do put them down in the comments. I'm not going to lie, I am very, 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 very behind on comments from my last video. Thank you to everybody who did comment. Like I said, I've just had a busy week. I've had lots of life admin. I've had lots of things going on. I am prioritising those comments in the next couple of days, but I'm overwhelmed with your support and kind words and enthusiasm and just all round positive comments that I received for my Wednesday video, where I, like I said, almost bared all. So thank you for that. That was really encouraging, and it shows me that I did make the right decision by putting that out there, because it was very exposing. It was very like, oh, is this the right thing to do? And it absolutely was the right thing to do, because I think it has helped to normalise quite a lot of things for people, that they're not the only ones that, like, you know, have saggy baggy tummies after they've lost weight. And that's to be expected. So I stand behind that, and I'm really pleased and a little bit proud of myself for doing that. So yeah, that's that one. So yeah, question and answer. Please, if you have any questions, like I said, I'm a relatively open book. So within reason, I will answer any and all questions. Anything that you have for me, whether it's life or the only thing I really can't talk about is work. Like I said, it's a huge big deal at my work, so I don't talk about work. I can't say what I do, especially my old job, because it was so unique. But yeah, so within reason, I will answer almost any comment. So yeah, anyway, if you've made it this far, thank you very much, and I hope your journey is going well. If you would like to leave a like or subscribe, please do. Comments will be answered, if a little bit slower than normal. And yeah, if you want to tell me a little bit about what's happening for you, how much weight loss you've had, or any problems that you're having. People are great about responding to comments here. We've got a great community. And yeah, I would encourage you just to put any thoughts down below, and we can see if we can come up with some solutions for you. So I look forward to reading whatever your questions are, and then I will address them either Wednesday or next Saturday, depending on how many questions there are. And yeah, we'll get that sorted. But yeah, anyway, that's all for now. Thanks very much for joining me, and I will see you the next time.